The signal from beyond. The void between stars was never truly silent to those who knew how to listen. Captain Maya Chen understood this better than most as she stood on the bridge of the UES Vengeance, her fingers tracing invisible patterns on the tactical display. The ship hummed beneath her feet, a living, breathing entity of human engineering that had carried her crew safely through countless missions over the past decade. "Captain, we're picking up something unusual," Lieutenant Hiroshi Nakamura said, his voice cutting through the controlled calm of the bridge. "Quantum signature matches no known configuration in our database." Maya moved to his station, her movements deliberate despite the urgency in his tone. "Show me." The display flickered, revealing a pulsing pattern of energy that seemed to fold in on itself repeatedly. Not random noise, but something structured, intelligent. "It's coming from Proxima Vega," Hiroshi continued. "The colony there went silent 3 days ago." Maya's expression didn't change, but her hand instinctively moved to the small pendant at her neck, a piece of iron meteorite her daughter had given her before this deployment. Proxima Vega. 2 million colonists. Earth's most ambitious expansion project to date. Analysis confirms it's a human quantum distress beacon, Science Officer Dr. Eliza Wright said, her voice tight with controlled emotion. "But the modulation is wrong. Like it's been damaged or jury-rigged." "Put it through the main speakers," Maya ordered. The bridge filled with a sound that made several officers flinch, a fluctuating pulse that seemed to carry within it fragments of human voices crying out, then suddenly silenced. The message ended with a data packet that the ship's AI automatically decoded. The holographic display above the central console formed an image that stole the breath from Maya's lungs, a massive swarm of biomechanical vessels surrounding Proxima Vega, methodically destroying orbital platforms, while ground-based images showed creatures unlike any species humanity had encountered in its expansion across the stars. "What the hell are we looking at?" Executive Officer Marcus Reed whispered. Dr. Wright's hands danced across her console. "Unknown species. Their biology appears to be partially synthetic, some form of organic technology that our databases can't identify." Maya studied the imagery with the detachment that had defined her 15-year career in Earth's unified Space Force. "Time to Proxima Vega at maximum burn." 46 hours, Captain," the navigation officer responded. Maya's decision was instantaneous. "Set course. Maximum velocity. Alert Fleet Command of our findings and request reinforcements." She turned to Communications Officer Purik. "Activate the Iron Tide Protocol." The bridge fell silent. The Iron Tide Protocol had been established after the Centauri conflict, a means to coordinate all human assets, military and civilian, in response to an existential threat. It had never been implemented in actual combat operations. "Captain," Marcus said quietly, "that requires Admiral Terrell's authorization." Maya's gaze didn't waver. "Send him the data packet. He'll authorize it." Within 20 minutes, Admiral Terrell's weathered face appeared on the main screen. His eyes reflected the same calculated determination Maya felt. "Iron Tide Protocol is authorized, Captain Chen. Every available ship is being diverted to your coordinates. The mining fleet from Saturn's rings has weaponry we installed after the Rygar incident. They'll arrive shortly after you. The civilian medical transports from Europa Station are already en route." "Sir, preliminary analysis suggests this is a completely unknown species," Maya reported. "Their technology is unlike anything we've encountered." Terrell nodded grimly. "We've been monitoring unusual energy signatures at the edge of charted space for months. Intelligence suspected a new player was emerging, but nothing on this scale." He leaned closer to the camera. "Maya, I don't need to tell you what's at stake. 2 million colonists, and if these creatures aren't stopped at Proxima Vega, Earth would be next," she finished. "We'll hold until reinforcements arrive." After the communication ended, Maya addressed her crew. "I won't sugarcoat this. We're facing an unknown enemy with technology we don't fully understand. But that colony is full of human beings, our people, and we will not abandon them. As the vengeance accelerated toward the beleaguered colony, humanity's response unfolded across the solar system and beyond. Mining vessels repurposed their cutting lasers into weapons. Civilian ships converted cargo bays into medical facilities. Retired military personnel reactivated old commissions. Earth's response wasn't just a military mobilization. It was a civilization transforming itself for war. The vengeance arrived at Proxima Vega 43 hours later to find devastation beyond imagining. The once thriving colony's orbital installations have been systematically destroyed, with debris forming a glittering cloud around the planet. Ground scans showed massive destruction in the major settlement areas. Life signs? Maya asked, her voice tight. Scattered. Approximately 300,000 survivors detected in underground facilities and rural outposts, Dr. Wright reported. But, Captain, there are also readings indicating large concentrations of colonists being held in what appear to be processing centers. Maya's tactical training immediately grasped the implication. They're not just killing, they're capturing. Before they could investigate further, sensors detected 3 massive biomechanical vessels emerging from the far side of the planet. They've seen us, Tactical Officer Lieutenant Commander Jackson announced. Energy signatures indicate weapons charging. Maya's mind raced through tactical options. The Vengeance was a formidable vessel, but alone against 3 capital ships of unknown capability, the odds were catastrophic. Full battle stations, she ordered. Deploy countermeasures and prepare for evasive maneuvers. What happened next would later be studied in every military academy on Earth. The alien vessels fired what appeared to be organic projectiles that reconfigured themselves mid-flight to track the Vengeance's evasive pattern. Maya's ship took heavy damage to its port side, but her tactical officer managed to destroy 1 alien vessel with a precisely targeted antimatter torpedo. As the battle raged, the Vengeance's sensors detected something else. Transport ships rising from the planet's surface, filled with human captives. They're taking them, Marcus said in horror. Where? We're going to find out, Maya responded, her voice deadly calm. Navigation, lock onto the largest transport and prepare to pursue. Tactical, focus all firepower on creating an exit corridor. Captain, Marcus objected. Our orders are to hold position until reinforcements arrive. Maya pointed to the tactical display showing the transport ships accelerating away from the planet. Those are our people, Executive Officer. And I'm not leaving them to whatever fate these creatures have planned. As the Vengeance broke free from the engagement, pursuing the alien transports into uncharted space, Maya recorded a message to Admiral Terrell explaining her decision. She knew it might end her career, but some prices were worth paying. What she couldn't have known was that her decision would ultimately save humanity from extinction. The pursuit led them deeper into unexplored space, toward a massive nebula where sensors detected unusual energy patterns. The alien vessels moved with purpose, clearly heading toward something specific. What's in there? Maya asked as they approached the nebula's edge. Dr. Wright studied her readings with growing concern. The nebula contains unusual quantum fluctuations. It could be natural, but she looked up. Captain, I believe it's artificially generated. A cloaking field of some kind. Hiding what? The answer came moments later as they penetrated the nebula's outer boundary, and the sensors suddenly registered what lay beyond. A vast armada of biomechanical ships surrounding what could only be described as a mobile ecosystem. A constructed world ship at least 200 kilometers in diameter. My God, Marcus whispered. There must be thousands of vessels. Maya processed the tactical implications with growing horror. This wasn't just a raiding force. It was an invasion fleet unlike anything humanity had ever faced. As they watched, the transport ships carrying human captives docked with the world ship. Maya made her decision. Stealth systems to maximum. We're going in closer, she ordered. And send everything we're seeing back to Earth. They need to know what's coming. Humanity unleashed. On the alien command ship, High Dirge Vorlaf studied the biological samples extracted from the human captives with growing concern. These creatures were supposed to be primitive, only recently achieving faster-than-light travel. The Dirge Council had designated them as minimal threat, suitable for harvesting and study, but not worthy of special consideration. Supreme Dirge, his subordinate, addressed him. The analysis is complete. These humans, their genetic structure is unusual. Vorlath moved his elongated body closer to the holographic display. Explain. They adapt at an unprecedented rate. Even as we study them, their cellular structures are already developing resistance to our biological agents and their neural patterns. The science officer hesitated. They process information differently. Their thought patterns are chaotic, unpredictable. A curiosity, nothing more. Vorlaf dismissed. Our biomechanical superiority is absolute. We have conquered 17 species more advanced than these humans. A tactical alert interrupted their conversation. Supreme Dirge, we've detected an unauthorized quantum transmission from within the nebula. A human vessel has penetrated our screening field. Vorlath's multifaceted eyes narrowed. Impossible. No human technology should be capable of tracking our transports through the dimensional shift. Nevertheless, they have done so. The vessel is small, but our sensors indicate it transmitted data before we detected it. For the first time in his 3-century existence, Vorlath felt something approaching concern. Destroy it. Then accelerate our timetable. We will not give these humans time to prepare. Back on the Vengeance, Maya Chen knew they had been detected when the first wave of biomechanical fighters emerged from the world ship, heading directly toward them. They've locked onto us, Jackson reported. Evasive maneuvers won't be enough. There are too many. Maya had already anticipated this. Initiate Protocol Icarus. Protocol Icarus was a last resort measure. Overloading the ship's quantum core would create an explosion sufficient to destroy the Vengeance and anything within half a kilometer. But Maya had modified the protocol for something far more ambitious. Launch all escape pods programmed with the coordinates I just entered, she ordered. Each pod carries a quantum beacon tuned to fleet frequencies. When our reinforcements arrive, they'll have a perfect map of the enemy fleet formation. And us? Marcus asked quietly. Maida's expression was resolute. We're taking Escape Pod 0. Escape Pod 0 wasn't meant for escape at all. It was a specially designed infiltration vehicle that could mimic the biomechanical signature of the alien vessels, while the other pods scattered in different directions, drawing away pursuit. Maya and a small team would attempt the impossible, infiltrating the alien world ship. As the Vengeance's remaining crew evacuated, Maya recorded one final message to Admiral Tyrell. The threat is greater than we imagined. This is an invasion force capable of overwhelming Earth's defenses, but we've identified a potential weakness in their biomechanical systems. The data is attached to this transmission. Whatever happens to us, make sure it reaches Earth's scientists. The plan worked better than she had dared hope. While the alien fighters pursued the decoy pods, Maya's infiltration team managed to dock with the world ship by mimicking the signature of a returning scout vessel. Once aboard, they discovered the true horror of the aliens' plans. The captured humans weren't just being studied, they were being systematically processed, their genetic material harvested to enhance the aliens' own biomechanical capabilities. They're using us to evolve, Dr. Wright whispered as they observed the processing centers, incorporating human adaptability into their own systems. Can you access their network? Maya asked. Wright nodded, connecting her specialized tablet to a biological interface node. Their security is based on organic patterns, complex but surprisingly vulnerable to our quantum decryption. The information they discovered sent chills through Maya's team. The aliens, who called themselves the Voth, were a collective consciousness that had expanded across multiple star systems by assimilating the biological and technological distinctiveness of other species. They had identified humanity as a particularly valuable harvest due to humans' unusual adaptability and creative problem-solving abilities. But they had made a critical miscalculation. Their analysis had concluded that humanity's fractious nature and independent thinking would prevent a coordinated response. They expected to harvest isolated colonies one by one before Earth even realized the threat existed. They hadn't accounted for the Iron Tide Protocol, or for humanity's capacity to unify in the face of an existential threat. While Maya's team gathered intelligence inside the world ship, Earth's response had already begun. Admiral Tyrrell had mobilized not just the military fleet, but every asset humanity could bring to bear. Mining vessels with reinforced hulls formed the front lines. Research vessels deployed experimental weapons systems developed for scientific applications, but hastily repurposed for war. Civilian engineers volunteered solutions to technical problems that military think tanks had struggled with for years. The first wave of Earth's forces arrived at the nebula's edge 72 hours after Maya's infiltration, led by the dreadnought UES Thermopylae. What followed was not the disorganized response the Voth had expected, but a precisely coordinated attack leveraging the tactical data from the Vengeance's sacrifice. Inside the world ship, Maya's team had identified the central node of the Voth's collective consciousness, a massive biological computer that coordinated their entire fleet. If we can disrupt this, Maya told her team, their ships will lose coordination. They'll be vulnerable. The plan they developed was audacious to the point of insanity. Using Dr. Wright's understanding of the Voth's biological systems, they created a virus, not a computer program, but an actual biological agent that would attack the organic components of the Voth's technology. As Earth's fleet engaged the outer defenses of the Voth Armada, drawing their attention outward, Maya's team implemented their desperate plan. The virus, once introduced into the central node, spread rapidly through the Voth's interconnected biological systems. The effect was catastrophic for the Voth. Ships lost coordination, weapon systems failed, and in some cases, the biomechanical vessels began to attack each other as the virus corrupted their recognition systems. Admiral Tyrrell, watching from the Thermopylae's bridge, couldn't believe what he was seeing. What's happening to them? His science officer studied the readings with amazement. Their ships are connected through some kind of organic network, and it's collapsing. They're fighting blind. The battle that followed was still difficult and costly, but the outcome was no longer in doubt. Without their coordinated hive mind, the Voth ships were vulnerable to humanity's unorthodox tactics and adaptable strategy. In the aftermath, as rescue teams searched the disabled world ship for human captives, they found Maya Chen and her surviving team members in the central chamber, surrounded by the biological remnants of the Voth leadership. "How did you know it would work?" Admiral Tyrrell asked when he finally reached her on the secure channel. Maya's exhausted face showed a glimmer of the determination that had driven her mission. "We didn't, but that's humanity's true strength, isn't it? We try the impossible because we don't know any better." In the months that followed, humanity's understanding of galactic politics expanded dramatically. The Voth, it turned out, weren't the only advanced species in the nearby sectors. Several others had been watching the conflict, assessing humanity's capabilities. What they witnessed changed their assessment of Earth from emerging species to potential threat, or for some, potential ally. Diplomatic overtures began arriving from civilizations that had previously kept their distance. As for the Voth, their collective consciousness was shattered but not destroyed. The survivors retreated to distant sectors, their hive mind permanently altered by contact with human individuality. Some xenobiologists theorized that the experience might eventually transform them into something new, perhaps even something capable of peaceful coexistence. Maya Chen, officially reprimanded for disobeying orders and unofficially celebrated as humanity's savior, returned to Earth to find herself a reluctant symbol of human determination. In her first and only public address, she said simply, "We prevailed not because we were stronger or more advanced, but because we refused to accept defeat as an option. That's the essence of humanity. We don't know when we're outmatched." Across the galaxy, other species contemplated this truth with a mixture of admiration and fear. Humanity had announced its presence on the galactic stage, not through diplomacy or gradual emergence, but through a display of adaptability and collective resolve that sent a clear message to any watching eyes. Underestimate us at your peril. In the endless void between stars, intelligence reports on humanity now carried a new designation: approach with caution.